Go ahead.
Why studying Talmud makes you smarter and better. This past year in the Jewish day schools in Montreal, we had a remarkable project called the Moot Beit Din. Moot Beit Din means literally a moot Jewish court of law. And what happened was that we went to 10th grade students in all of the Jewish day schools. We presented them with a case which was a bit of a Chad Gadya kind of case. It was a case of a supermarket that had hired developmentally disabled adults to remove shopping carts from the parking lot, and one of these developmentally disabled adults ignored a shopping cart, which was then pushed by an unidentified shopper, which then careened down a ramp, which then had a car swerve and smash into a pedestrian. The pedestrian jumped and lost his bag, and the bag jumped through another car's window. And the case, of course, wanted to know who's responsible. The students in the 10th grade were given a series of passages from the Talmud, which they had to apply to the case. And last night, we had the winning presentations in the McGill Moot Court, where we went to McGill Law School. The dean of the McGill Law School greeted us, and the students came and gave their winning presentations and explained their arguments and why they had chosen their particular point of view. It was an evening that was filled with joy and nachas. It was a special evening. And what it made me reflect on is why the Talmud makes us smarter and better. Because these students, after a year of study of Talmud, had become smarter and better. And indeed, the Talmud makes you smarter. You know, the dean of the McGill Law School mentioned last night that the best student he had ever had in his class was a former rabbinical student who maybe otherwise didn't have the well-rounded education that one would expect of someone entering into law school, but at the same time had the perfect education for law school. He had spent several years in yeshiva studying Talmud. And because he had done that, he was experienced in argumentation, experienced in asking relevant and important questions, and experienced in thinking about the logic of a case. And indeed, it is in law schools throughout North America, they found that taking yeshiva students very often is the smartest choice, because the study of the Talmud simply sharpens the mind. It encourages you to argue. It encourages you to ask questions. You know, the great physicist Isidore Rabi explained that the reason why he became such a great physicist, and indeed he won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1944, he explained that the reason why he became such a great physicist is because when he would go to school every day, when he came home, his mother didn't ask him how he did in school, what marks did he get, whether he was getting A's. His mother would simply ask him one question. Izzy, did you ask a good question today? And that is really the profundity of the Talmud. The Talmud sharpens the mind because it encourages questions, it encourages arguments, and it encourages us always to look beneath the surface. But studying Talmud is not just about mental calisthenics. Studying Talmud makes you better. You know, Elie Wiesel, in his autobiography, One Generation After, writes about his experience in the concentration camps, where he says that there were all sorts of kapos. Kapos were the Jewish collaborators who helped the Nazis in the concentration camps. And he said they came from all different backgrounds. He said that they came from different ethnic backgrounds, German, Hungarian, Czech. They came from different religious backgrounds. Some of them were Jewish Christians. Some of them were Jews. Some were atheists. They came from different professional backgrounds. Professors, industrialists, artists, merchants. Some were Marxists. Some were humanists. Some were common criminals. The kapos came from very different backgrounds. The one background they didn't have, as he said, was that not one kapo had been a rabbi. And Wiesel makes this observation, which is a powerful observation. Not one kapo had been a rabbi. And I have to tell you, I know lots of rabbis. I am a rabbi. And rabbis don't have unique characters. They're not necessarily nicer or better than any other human being. But the one particular advantage that rabbis have is that they spend every day studying Talmud. Talmud, the study of Talmud, is meant to make the law personally relevant. Every day they were contemplating the principles of Talmud, the rights and responsibilities that the Talmud articulates. It reminds you every single day that you have to think seriously about your moral, your ethical, and your legal obligations. And when Wiesel says that not one rabbi was a capo, it is a wonderful comment on the power of the Talmud, that the Talmud makes you better, because contemplating and thinking about what you should be doing with your life, what are the moral principles upon which your life is founded, will transform you for the rest of your life. And so last night we had the nachas, we had the enormous joy of watching these students excel in their presentations for the Moot Beit Din. And I got to tell you, the nachas was that we saw that these students, in just 1 year's study of Talmud, had become smarter and they had become better.
Thank you.